Morning, everyone. Hope the keynote was good. My name is Dror Shimshowitz.
And I'm AJ Crane.
And we're with the YouTube product team. We work on creators and curators. And we're here to tell you how to get with the program. Lots of the talks at I/O over the next couple days will be super technical, lots of API discussions. But today, we're going to talk to you about the softer side of things, how you can use YouTube as a great content platform in order to tell the world about your company and your startup. So let me just take a quick poll. Who here, their company has a YouTube channel already? Can you raise your hand? Wow, that's about 2/3. That's more than I expected. What about a Google Plus page? Facebook fan page? Twitter handles? OK, everybody, especially for the latter ones. So the first question I'd like to ask is, how come everybody has a Google Plus page and a Twitter handle, but not a YouTube channel?
Well, it might be because making video is really hard.
So that's exactly the myth that we want to dispel today, that you too can start creating videos and get your own YouTube channel going. And in order to prove that point, we wanted to start off by going down to Ojai, California, and check in with a local business down there who has been using YouTube very successfully over the past year.
Oh, you got it.
You probably thought this deer was alive, and this coyote was alive, and this pheasant was alive. Nope, they're not. They're dead. They've been taxidermized by Chuck Testa. Ojai Valley Taxidermy. I specialize in the most lifelike dead animals anywhere, period.
Look at that antelope driving a car.
Nope, it's just Chuck Testa.
Oh no, there's a bear in my bed.
Nope, Chuck Testa.
Hold on a second. There's a leopard feeding on an impala out on my deck.
Nope, it's just Chuck Testa with another realistic mount. Shipped to me from anywhere. Call Chuck Testa for the most lifelike dead animals around, period.
Did that rhino just order a drink?
Nope.
Chuck Testa does not taxidermize pet.
And if we go below, we see he's gotten 12 million views. So in all seriousness, the point is, if a local business in Ojai, California, which is not super high tech, can make good use of YouTube, then we think you can as well. So what we're going to do today is, first we're going to catch you up on all the latest and greatest with YouTube, show you how far we've gotten with the product. Then the heart of the presentation, we'll talk to you about all the great ways that you can use YouTube for your startup and your company. And then we'll wrap it up with some more tactical tips and tricks and open it up to questions. OK, so first, how far has YouTube gotten in the last few years? YouTube is now watched by most people on the web each month. Whether they're coming directly to the site, or they watch our embedded player, which is on lots of sites and blogs throughout the web. Lots and lots of people consume online video, and most of those people are consuming YouTube content today. It's a huge audience, and it continues to grow. And in fact, YouTube is now the 3rd largest site on the web. So think about, if your company is not on YouTube, you're not on the 3rd largest site, you're not on the 2nd largest search engine on the web. Beyond coming directly to the site, when people watch YouTube videos, they love to share them. This is very social content. And so whether it's 700 videos shared on Twitter every minute, or on other social platforms, or people just emailing and sharing out links in lots of different ways, this content is inherently viral. And even if a consumer doesn't have the habit of coming to YouTube each day, like maybe my mom, she's not a big YouTube user, I'm sending her videos all the time, and she watches them because I'm her son and I sent it to her. So YouTube is increasingly getting in front of most of the consumers and the viewers on the web, whether or not they come directly to the site. Another important thing to realize is that YouTube is now far more than a website. We're on most of the phones out there, over 350 million, pre-installed on a lot of them. And mobile viewing of the site is growing by leaps and bounds. It's tripled in just the last year. And I think it's clearly a question of when, not if, mobile viewing of YouTube videos will surpass desktop viewing. So if you take a step back and you think about people watching YouTube videos, not just on the site, but on embedded players throughout the web, and increasingly on their phones, and now increasingly in the living room, where YouTube is on more and more connected devices, from Google TV to Xbox to things like the Q, YouTube will just become a pervasive part of people's lives. And not only will we have 800 million and growing users every month, but even throughout their day, they're going to watch more and more YouTube content. So to show the spirit of what this pervasive YouTube environment might look like, we put together a quick demo. So let me show it.
Good morning. I can feel your feet and they're
Stay vigilant, especially in the Middle East. As we look beyond the wars in Iraq
This week, accusing the Weather Channel of having a clear and pronounced pro-weather bias.
I can feel your body, it's moving.
On today's episode, the 2013 SR2 Viper with a price tag of upwards of $100,000.
A movie? No, I don't think I could handle a movie.
I'm a fashion blogger, budget expert, and lover of both.
You spend the rest of your life finding out what they do.
This recipe is a great way to satisfy everybody.
My self-expression is what you mean. All the bad things that I used to be. All the bad things that I used to be. Good morning.
So hopefully that gives you a sense of the increasing deployment of video screens in our world and in our life, and what it's like for consumers to have YouTube at their fingertips morning, afternoon, and evening. So now let's think about how you guys and your companies can make the best use of this platform. So let me turn it over to AJ.
Thanks. So hopefully Dror has convinced you that YouTube is the best platform for connecting with the world on hundreds of millions of devices using video. But you might be thinking, I don't need to connect with the whole world, and I've never made a single video. So today we want to give you some ideas for creating videos and how you can connect your business with the right audience. So the key to success on YouTube is content. So without any content on YouTube, your brand is invisible to this increasingly massive audience. But most people don't have much experience creating video. So we wanted to share a couple ideas to get you guys started. So if you remember one thing from today's presentation, it should be this. People don't come to YouTube to catch up on the latest commercials. They come to be entertained and informed. And they're always just one click away from other enticing related videos. So it's really important that you make your videos engaging and something that people actually want to watch. So this means creating content and not creating commercials. So to test this out, we wanted to show you guys two 15-second clips of different videos and then have you guys vote on which one you want to watch the rest of. All right, so here's the first.
You've never seen a shaver like this before. It's the new 3M surgical clipper by Remington. Hospitals are now using it, replacing blades to shave patients for surgery safely and comfortably. And you can benefit from this advanced technology by using the Remington.
All right, remember it. And here's the second.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great.
All right, so quick show of hands. Who would rather see the second video? Yes.
Should we watch the end of it?
Oh, yeah. So this is really typical of how our YouTube audience works. So if you don't hook them within the first 15 seconds, it's really easy for them to leave your content. So it's super important that you kind of hook them in the first couple seconds. So here's the rest of Dollar Shave Club.
Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you.
Hi, I'm Mike. Hi, I'm Mike. Hi, I'm Mike.
Ooh. All right, so making great videos isn't just about making people laugh. Video can also be used to help your business in lots of ways. So first, it's important to think about what your goal is. So since here at I/O, we thought that we might have a lot of companies that are getting started, and so we chose to focus on these 3 goals. First is just getting the word out about your brands and raising awareness. Second, using video to raise money. And then third, using video to learn more about what your audience thinks about your product or service. So let's start with PR. The obvious first video for any new company to create is a product video that explains exactly what your product does and how it works. These product videos are really great for you to share with any of the press or bloggers that might be covering the launch of your new product. The reason being is having a video included in the blog post actually makes sure that your message is clear and that none of the important features or functionality is overlooked when the article is released. Because there's nothing more frustrating than having your favorite feature not be included when the news story comes out. So here's an example of a company named Cake Health that put together a great video to be included in a TechCrunch article. So including the video in the article is not only great for you as the product owner to make sure that nothing gets lost, but it's also great for the bloggers. So having a video makes it really easy to make sure that your story's on point and that you're not missing anything. So while the product videos are great, you can't just stop at one. It's not a one-time thing. Instead, this should be an ongoing thing as you develop new features. So this is especially important for really complex products that are better said broken into kind of more digestible chunks for today's kind of increasingly ADD audience. Salesforce has done a really good job of this. They actually have almost 3,000 videos in their channel and have accumulated 9 million views across all of those videos. And this is almost as effective for them as a second sales force. And if you come to think of it, videos are a very cost-effective way to generate sales leads.
What if your audience screencasts, or no, they just don't have that attention span?
Good question. So animation is a great fit for certain products and audiences. So back at the Tube, we recently launched a feature called Suggested Edits. And so this feature is really targeted at the kind of user who doesn't want to download editing software, doesn't want to watch tutorials and screencasts on how to use that editing software. Instead, they just want to click a button and have their video work. So instead of doing a screencast, we created this quick, fun 30-second animation that got the message of the new feature across in a super casual way. So let's take a look.
Hey you. Enjoy uploading videos to YouTube, but have problems with shaky footage? YouTube now automatically detects problems with your videos and can color correct and stabilize shaky footage. So you can worry more about free-falling, 10-hanging, two-wheeling, top roping, pet wrangling, and face planting, and less about a steady camera. So keep those videos rolling in, and keep an eye out for more innovations from the YouTube team.
So animation is also great if you're a little camera shy. It's a great way to not have your face on camera, but still get the message across. The other thing you might be thinking is, I don't have the budget to create an animation like this. So stop motion is also a great alternative, and I'm going to show you guys an example of that in a couple minutes. All right, so in addition to product videos, you can also use sight, sound, and motion to get the word out about your brand without even mentioning your product. So Etsy, as some of you might know, is a really awesome platform that allows artisans from all over the world to sell their products online. While the platform and the technology is super cool, the best thing about Etsy is kind of this huge community of artisans that makes them unique. So what they've done in their channel is, instead of uploading product videos, they've created videos that tell the backstory about their brand and add color to their community. So here's a quick one from one of their artists, and you'll notice that the video barely mentions Etsy, but still does a lot for improving the awareness of their brand.
I think in general there's a reaction against digital technologies. They don't seem very personal, and they don't seem very different from each other, and I think people are looking for something that's different. There's definitely a relationship between the person who wears a mechanical watch and the watch itself, because you are winding it, you're giving something to the relationship and you're getting something back again. I'm David Sokosh, and I'm the owner of Brooklyn Watches. I owned an art gallery in...
So that should just give you an idea of the kind of content they're uploading. It's really great. All right, so if you still have no idea what you might want to create content about and what kind of content will suit your brand, Dror is going to share some ideas on how you can get inspired and get some ideas for your next video.
So one thing we think is really important if you're going to create content for YouTube is that you just be familiar with what content is already on YouTube. So what we do at work all day is we watch videos. That's really a tough part of our job, and we're accepting applications because we need more people to watch videos of cats and things like that. But it's actually really important to at least get a taste of what the community and the YouTube audience is already watching. But if you don't have time all day to watch YouTube videos, we have a few tools that can help you quickly come up to speed on what's popular. So the first is we maintain a blog called YouTube Trends, and we have a team that scours YouTube and sites all over the web to see what's popular, what's trending, and tries to pick up the memes fairly early and bring them to the attention of the audience for the YouTube Trends blog. So I encourage you guys to follow that blog every day, about 4 times a day. They update the site. You can also go into YouTube charts, and for each category, each vertical, each type of content, you can see what's been the most popular. So for comedy or sports or different topics, you can see what's worked really well. Now, if you want to get even more analytical, actually, before we talk about analytical, I want to talk about cats. So there are a lot of cat videos on YouTube, and they do all sorts of interesting things. And so you might wonder, how do these cats come up with what they're going to do on video? Well, we think that they watch YouTube, and they copy what other cats are doing. So we encourage you guys to do the same. But if you want to be more analytical about it, our real power tool is the Trends dashboard. Here, especially if you know what audience you're going after, so let's say your product is targeting buffalo or is targeting males that are 15 to 24, you can dive in, slice and dice the data, and see which videos are appealing to that demographic. You can go to different cities, different countries, and just see what's playing well across the world. And this can be really powerful for helping you understand your intended audience. So if you're still not inspired and you still don't know what kind of content to create, or you don't have the budget or you don't have the time, the next thing that you should look at is the community itself. There's a very vibrant community on YouTube, and there's a chance that they're already creating content for you. So here's an example of a channel called Rockenbach. This is a company that makes small toy trucks. They're really fun. And their users are constantly uploading videos to YouTube playing with the little remote control trucks. And what Rockenbach has done is they have found these videos across YouTube. They've pulled them together into a playlist that they call customer videos and put it on their channel. And they have essentially outsourced the production of video to their users and their community, all free of charge. So this is a great tactic. We call this curation. And we'll come back to some other ways that you can curate content later. Now, if you don't already have a vibrant community like Rockenbach, then you should think about potentially creating one. So a lot of you guys may know Fred from Saturday Night Live. He just started a channel a couple months ago, and he uploaded a video with a few simple instructions. We'll watch it in a second, in order to get a community going. So let's take a look at what he did.
Hi, I'm Fred. I'm doing a project called Be Serious for 30 Seconds. And what it is user-submitted videos, that's you. Send in a video, and it's got to follow these rules. Number one, it has to be serious. There cannot be any comedy whatsoever in it. No humor, no smiles, not even like ironic comedy. It has to be 30 seconds or less. It can have no more than 2 people in it. There has to be at least one 5-second dramatic pause, 5 seconds of total silence. There has to be one cutaway of an object. You have to do your best acting job possible. And then the last thing is, it has to end with a door slamming.
Got that? But this has actually worked really well. In just the last 2 months, he's gotten close to 300 submissions. These videos have been viewed almost 500,000 times. And he has jump-started this community, and I think we can learn some interesting things from this. The first is that 1/4 of the people who submitted videos were first-time uploaders to YouTube. They'd never created a video before. But because Fred gave them this sandbox, this kind of construct, and 7 very explicit instructions on what to do with a 30-second video, he motivated them and gave them a framework to work with, and all of a sudden they were creating and uploading. Also, if people upload to YouTube and they don't have a large audience already, then they may think nobody will watch my video. But if you can provide the community for them, you can bring an audience and say, if you create videos with our products, we'll pull them into our channel and we'll show our larger audience. Then that motivates people to create videos for you. So this is a really interesting tactic. And if you have passionate users of your product, then we encourage you to try and build a video community around that. So actually, let's watch one of the submissions.
Ist der Tank jetzt leer, oder?
Ja, schon.
Ja, was machen wir jetzt?
Was weiß ich. Hast halt nicht getankt, ne?
Du hast gesagt, du tankst, weißt du?
Ja, aber ich habe halt nicht dran gedacht. Du ja genauso wenig. Vielleicht holt einer Benzin. Kann's ja gehen, oder? Gut.
Simple. That was a submission from Germany. This brings up another really interesting tactic that works well on YouTube, which is leveraging other people's community. If your channel doesn't yet have a lot of subscribers, then we encourage you to find other channels which are relevant for your product that already have a lot of followers. So what we find on YouTube are a lot of review sites, especially in the tech industry. And these sites, these channels are really popular on YouTube. A couple examples are iJustine and Techno Buffalo, and they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And what you can do is you can reach out to these bloggers. You can send them videos, send them content about your company or products. And they love hearing from people. They love getting content that they can then feature and create videos for their own audience. So a running theme throughout all of this is don't just try to go it alone in terms of getting an audience and creating content. Think about YouTube as a more collaborative community to accomplish a lot of these things. And then finally, once you have some viewers on your videos, it's not just about raising awareness, but you can also use drive those eyeballs back to your site. So let's take a look at what Zag did. They're an advertiser on the site. And they've done a very effective job in driving viewers back to their own site. So you see very heavy use of branding, and then on the bottom of the video was an annotation that they overlaid. And those are actually clickable, and they can take you back to your site. If I clicked on that, it would go to zag.com. And this is a feature that will be opening up soon to all channels, where if you have verified your domain with Webmaster Tools, then you'll be able to link from your video directly in the video itself back to your site. Okay, so we just went through a lot of content, so I wanted to summarize real quick. Raising awareness is probably the #1 use case for a lot of people using YouTube. And in order to do that effectively, we think it should be an integral part of your PR. Focus on creating a lot of product demos, but don't just talk about the product, also talk about the backstory and add some color and authenticity to your videos. Use the site to get inspired, see what other people are doing, really leverage the community in lots of different ways. And then once you've built up an audience and views on YouTube, be sure to drive them back to your site where you can sell them products or do more deeply engage with them. But raising awareness is not the only thing you can do, so let me hand it back to AJ, who can tell you how YouTube videos can help you fundraise as well.
Thanks. All right, so video is also emerging as a really popular way to pitch a company to potential investors. Filming a video allows you to make your message really clear, demo your product, introduce people to your team, all using a video. Without buying a single plane ticket, hopping on the 101, or worst case scenario, like putting on a suit, going to an office. So let's take a look at this company called Pebble that put together a fundraising project on Kickstarter and created this video as part of the project. So here's the video they included.
Hi Kickstarter, my name is Eric. This is my smartphone, and this is my Pebble. Pebble is a watch that you can customize. It runs a lot of cool and useful apps, and connects wirelessly by Bluetooth to your iPhone or Android smartphone. This is our dream team. It started with a prototype built from cell phone parts. That led us to our first commercial product, the Impulse smartwatch for BlackBerry. The number one question we received was, when will the watch work with my iPhone? Well, we're proud to say that we can finally answer that question. This is Pebble.
All right, so as you can see, they explained the product, they introduced the team, they told their backstory, and also mentioned some obstacles that they're overcoming. It actually worked great as a pitch. So, and it was a success. So their Kickstarter project ended up raising over $10 million for the company, which was much more than they had as their target. So the other interesting fact about including video in your Kickstarter pitch is that pitches that include a video raise nearly double as much money as those that don't. This is a stat from Indiegogo. So the Pebble video was pretty well produced, very clear, and they clearly had some great equipment doing it. But you don't only need to have kind of these well-produced videos in order to pitch a project. Here's another example from a company called Maki Maki that creates keyboard input devices, and they created a really fun stop-motion video. This is also a great example of creating content and not commercials. So this is obviously very entertaining to watch, and also was very successful in their pitch. So YouTube recently announced a new feature where you can actually link off to a Kickstarter project or an Indiegogo project using the annotations that Noam just mentioned, or that Dror just mentioned, that overlay your videos. Cool, so now I'm gonna hand it back over to Dror to talk about how you can use video to learn more from your audience.
So everything we've talked about thus far is kind of going outward, broadcasting to the world. But YouTube is a two-way medium, and it's a great chance to interact with users and hear from them as well. So if you have users of your product already, we encourage you to start using various features of YouTube to better connect with them and better service them. The first thing we want to talk about is tutorials. So if your product is very visual or very complex and it's hard to explain in a help center, it might be best to shoot a screencast and show visually exactly how it works. Or if your audience doesn't have a lot of time or doesn't want to read through help center articles, it's also a great tactic. So in this case, we have Dr. Chrono. They create iPad apps for doctors, and doctors probably aren't going to read instruction manuals or go through your help center. But in a very short tutorial, 1 minute and 21 seconds, they explain to them how to electronically sign the documents in their app. So they chunk things up into little units, make it very digestible, and show exactly where in the app they need to do what. And this is very effective. Also, if you have a developer community and you're a platform for other companies, it's a great tool where you can teach the community, and then they can also take the assets and teach their own customers as well. How many folks are familiar with Google+ Hangouts? Okay, great. We love Hangouts, and we've been starting to use it a lot for Google products. So Google Developers Live over the past couple weeks has been holding dozens and dozens of Hangouts, and a lot of Google products and Google product teams are using this as a way to connect with users, better explain the product, hear feedback, and you can even conduct focus groups using these Hangouts. One thing that you should consider doing is holding regular office hours. So you can say to your users, every Tuesday from 9 to 11 we'll be hanging out, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can patch in, you can ask us questions, and it's a great way to support your users and also show them more of the human side of your company. Now we know that the limitation on Hangouts is 10 people, and you may have a lot more users. And so there's a fairly new feature called Hangouts on Air, where you can live stream your Hangout on your YouTube channel for the entire world. And so that's not limited to 10 people, as many people who want to watch the live stream can do so. You can also choose to make the recording of the Hangout on Air available on your channel. And so if Tuesday 9 a.m. is actually middle of the night in Tokyo, somebody can still come in on their own time and listen to the Hangout and get access to that information as well whenever they want in the future. There are other ways to conduct research on YouTube instead of doing actual focus groups. So the first is, I mentioned before, YouTube is the second largest search engine. You should go in and search for your company and your products and see if there's already existing content on the site. So here's an example of a company called Dror. By the way, they're in the YouTube sandbox, the rest of I.O., so I encourage you to check them out. And there are lots and lots of people uploading unboxing videos and videos using the Dror hovercraft. And these are great because when you watch these videos as the creators of the product, you can see how are people reacting when they first get the product, what's confusing, what's exciting. These videos are completely unsolicited, so they're very genuine. And you can see exactly how your users are using your product without having to pay them or set up focus groups or ask them questions, which might be leading questions. And so we encourage you to use this tactic. Let's take a very quick look at one of the unboxing videos just to get a flavor of it. So I skipped forward to about 10 minutes in the video. Here we see some annotations that the user has added, and we'll just watch a little bit.
There we go. It's my living room. So it should be start. And we're off. Fairly loud. I don't know if you can hear me, and makes quite the breeze.
Quite the breeze.
But
maybe that,
pretty steady.
Maybe a marketing campaign for them in the future. The other great product that we have that most people may not be familiar with is YouTube Analytics. So it's like Google Analytics, but it's for the video content that you create. And there are a few things that you can do with YouTube Analytics. The first is you can see where your audience is coming from. So if you have videos on YouTube and people watch them, you can see what cities and countries are they coming from. You can see what their demographics are in terms of age and gender. Just for example, we have a lot of music artists on YouTube, and they put up their videos, and then they notice that their music is being watched in countries like Sweden, even though they've never marketed there, they've never been there. And so we've heard of a lot of cases where artists decide to go on tour and go visit some of these communities because they have found a new audience. So a lot of you may be building products which you think are intended for the US, but may have a great global audience. And YouTube Analytics can show you exactly where your audience is coming from. Another great thing you can see on Analytics is the source of traffic for your videos. So where are your videos coming from? Are they all coming from search? Or are there certain sites or other YouTube channels that are driving a lot of traffic? So if you remember back to iJustine and Techno Buffalo, if you see that some of these channels are driving a lot of viewers to you, you probably want to pick up the phone and get in touch with these channels. They're sending you a lot of traffic. You could probably deepen that relationship and get even more love from them. The other thing you can do with analytics is you can look inside the video. And in this particular case, we see a chart that shows the drop-off curve of how people watch the video. This is interesting for a couple reasons. The first is, as a video creator, you can see what's engaging about the video, and you can continually hone your craft and figure out how to make better videos going forward. But you can also put different products and features throughout your video and use this as a proxy to see what are people interested in. If people are always skipping between minute 3 and 4, maybe they don't like the features or what you're talking about in that video, and that's very cheap market research for your product development. Okay, so we threw a lot at you, and we want you to remember some of this stuff, so we're going to pause here in terms of all the different goals and use cases that you can use YouTube for. But before we turn it over for questions, we did want to go through some more tactical items for how to really make your YouTube channel shine.
All right, so as we saw in the beginning of the session, lots of you have YouTube channels. But just as a quick refresher for those who don't know much about channels, every user who's ever uploaded a video on YouTube has a channel. And this is both your identity across the site and the landing page for users to find and browse your videos. So once you're building, once you've built a brand through your content, it's also really important that you can brand your channel page as well, and that it matches your brand off YouTube. So Rockenbach, the company that Dror mentioned before, has done a really great job of this. It's really clear to see what their brand is and calls to action back to their site where you can go buy the toy. And lo and behold, Chuck Testa has also done an awesome job at this. Chuck Testa has a really on-target background image here. He's got a taxidermized bear wearing sunglasses, and it fits really well with his personality and his brand. And so his channel is a great way to let that shine through. One more thing that Chuck does really well that we wanted to mention here is having a consistent upload schedule. So this is something that we tell all of our creators to do. So just like I need to know, when a new Mad Men episode is going to reappear on my DVR, it's also great to know when my favorite channels on YouTube are going to be adding new content. So this gives them a consistent time to come back to your channel each week. So Chuck does Taxidermy Tuesdays, and it works out really well for him.
Now, if you're not uploading every week and you just can't get into that regular cadence, this is again where you can use curation to really fill out your channel. GoPro, the small camera maker, does a great job of this. They continually find videos that other people have made using GoPro cameras, and they pull them into their channel by commenting on them. So this does a couple things. It fills their channel feed with fresh content every day, but it's also providing a shout out to the community. In the case of the first video, they say, sick edit, thanks for sharing. It really helps tie the community together. The other thing you really need to do beyond creating videos is engaging with your audience. So in the top left, we see that Chuck Testa is continually replying to comments. He's on his channel at least a couple times a week, and even if it's just throwing a nope on there to keep things on his message and let viewers know that he's around. He didn't just post these videos a year ago and hasn't been back since. This can be really effective. In the bottom right, we see the Fine brothers. They're very popular vloggers on YouTube, and they do a couple interesting things with the video down here. The first is they picked up on Chuck Testa as a meme, and they played off it. So they showed the Chuck Testa video to kids and filmed their reaction, and they got a couple million views on this video, being inspired by another creator. But then you also see in the blue, maybe it's hard to read the font, they ask viewers to submit suggestions for what videos they should create next. And this is a very effective tool, a very effective technique to both tell your audience that you're including them, that they get to decide what content gets created in the channel. And it also improves the odds that the next video that you can create will be relevant to your audience because you have asked them and they've given you suggestions. And then finally, a lot of folks may think they need to get fancy video equipment, whether it's cameras or editing suites, things like that. Our suggestion to you is to just get started. We've been designing and investing a lot in YouTube tools so that even people shooting with shaky cell phone cameras can quickly upload their content to the site. And we have a lot of free tools to stabilize, color correct, trim. So it's much more important to get started and get content on there. And the free tools on the site can make it look fine. And then if you're ready with a large audience to invest in more sophisticated equipment, you can do that at a later point. So finally, just a few resources for after today. The Creator Hub is the single place that you should start if you're looking for all sorts of links on the various things we talked about. We also have a Creator Playbook, which is a 100-page PDF you can download, and it goes through lots of case studies, many more than we're able to touch on today. The Trends Dashboard that we mentioned before. And then finally, we have a special section of YouTube just for developers. And for developers, there are going to be 4 other talks. All but the 4 o'clock will be here today. And you can learn all about the API and lots of other great ways of using YouTube in your own applications and sites. So final word goes to Chuck Testa, who wants to remind you to make content and not commercials. Hopefully we gave you guys some great ideas, and we really want you to get going and start creating videos and connecting with your users and the world through video content. So thanks for coming, and now we'll open it up for questions, and anyone who asks a question gets a fancy YouTube sock, also known as a tube sock, which is also very important to wear while you're filming videos.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. If you could please go to the mic to ask your question, which is right behind you. Thank you.
So let's say I have this great YouTube video and I want to reach out to my audience. What are the things I should do after I create the video? What should I do next?
So merely uploading a video to YouTube may not be enough, especially if you don't yet have a lot of subscribers to your channel. So we encourage you to do a few things. The first is share the video on social networks, Google+, Facebook, Twitter. In fact, you can connect all those accounts to your YouTube account and automatically have your content syndicated to all those platforms. And then find channels that might find your video relevant and communicate with them. They usually have their contact information somewhere on their channel page, so reach out to them. Say, hey, here's a new video I created. Are you willing to feature me in your channel? A more advanced approach is to do a collaboration, where you create a video together with them, and it gets featured on their channel and shown to their large audience. So, thank you.
So after you get started and you've got a number of community together and a number of people adding their videos to it, if you get some negative videos, do you have, as your channel owner, the ability to block or take those videos down?
You don't have the ability to block user-generated content that might be about your brand uploaded by someone else, unless it contains copyrighted, material that you own the rights to. But in general,
what you include in your channel is up to you. So the playlist that you create and the things that you comment on and add into your channel is your explicit action to do that. So you don't have to include any negative videos that are out there.
And another idea is to include a video response. So if someone has created a negative video, you could do a video response and try and turn it around. Okay. Oh.
Yeah, for actually monetizing the video itself, if you're making like an entertainment video, not necessarily an advertisement for like the product that you're doing, what would you suggest be good ideas for monetizing the video itself?
So very timely question. We have the YouTube Partner Program. Partners are video creators who monetize on the site, and we're now opening that up to just about anyone. So as long as your account is in good standing, meaning you haven't violated the terms of service of the site, you're not uploading pirated material, then you can go into your video manager, opt in to become a YouTube partner, and we will start sharing revenue with you right away. So I encourage you to look into that.
Similar question like the previous one. Except become the YouTube partner, or as a YouTube partner, can I use the space as an advertisement, like in the design or somewhere?
You mean the background around the video?
Bar.
So it's against our terms of service to kind of sell your background image or your annotations to an advertiser. But you can, use those as, supported branding or value add or to whoever might be your sponsor.
That's possible, right? As a supported value adder is okay.
Yeah.
As long as it's not technically advertising. Okay. But the most effective advertising on YouTube is video advertising that has the highest CPMs. And so the pre-rolls in front of the videos are what make the most money. And if you become a YouTube partner and you opt into that ad format, that's how to best monetize your content.
So, one more question regarding this. So, regarding the video advertisement, can I select my own videos for that?
For
the ads?
Yeah, for ads.
No, so we use AdWords for video. It's an auction. and it finds the highest monetizing and most relevant videos for the audience. And it may be different for different people watching your video. For example, if they're from a different country, or if they have different interests based on their watch history, we may serve up different ads. And that system tries to optimize both the advertising revenue and the user experience.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
I have two quick questions. One, I ended up creating our YouTube channel for our company way back when, and now we have, 100+ videos, but it's associated to my Gmail account. I don't want that anymore.
So soon we'll have a solution for you,
okay.
Coming very soon. But that's been kind of a legacy issue.
Yeah.
But we're working towards kind of some more kind of Google Plus integration that will allow you to have multiple admins for each channel.
And that was my other question.
And also own multiple channels with one account.
Perfect.
So, but we don't have it yet, but coming soon.
Fantastic, thanks.
What's like a good best practice for handling negative comments?
Yeah, comments are kind of the Wild West of video. One approach is you can turn off comments, and some brands do that. We don't encourage that because it kind of cuts off the community. And we think that the best comments will rise to the top in the top comment section. We're also working on some improvements to the comment system. So hopefully we'll have an update on that in the next few months.
I have a question on best practices to limit the visibility of videos. If you have IP or something that you're posting, you guys thinking about doing basically something similar to circles? Or do you have any other ideas for controlling IP in videos?
Yes, so currently we have 3 privacy states for YouTube video. You can make it private, which means you can specify a limited number of people to watch it. You actually name them. You can make it public, and that's the other extreme. And then we also have unlisted, where only people with the link will discover the video. If anyone gets the link, they can watch it, but it's security by obscurity. We're also working on some additional forms of sharing, so stay tuned on that as well. Any more questions?
Right now, is the best option for just community live streaming on YouTube going through Google Plus and then using, you said, it's like
Hangouts on Air.
Hangouts on Air back to YouTube. That's the best live streaming option right now?
Yes, that's the one that's available to everyone. We also have a live streaming product, but right now that's available to higher end partners. There's a lot of setup cost involved in that, and it's not yet a self-serve offering. We hope to make that available in the future.
Cool.
But for now, Hangouts on Air is your best bet.
All right, awesome, thanks.
Great, any more questions? Well, thanks everyone for coming. We're really excited about the future of YouTube, and we hope you jump on the platform and help us build this great platform for video content going forward. Thanks for coming.
Thanks.